All right. Good afternoon, everybody. That was pathetic. Good afternoon. There we go, a little better. All right, I'd like to begin by acknowledging Michael Albert, our sign language interpreter, Rich Monocchio, who's the Executive Director of the Housing Authority of Cook County, Commissioner Miller, and Commissioner Anaya. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And I want to thank all of you for being here to support affordable housing. I've spoken often about how decent, safe, and affordable housing is a basic human right. No one should have to choose between paying their rent or feeding their family, or being able to clothe their children or fill a prescription. Yet this is the situation that too many of our fellow Americans face today. In the most recent report published by the DePaul Institute for Housing Studies, over 180,000 households across Cook County are facing housing instability. This means that they're paying more than 30% of their total household income just toward rent. In many cases, that percentage is larger. This is unacceptable. Our family, friends, and neighbors all deserve housing that is safe, warm, and dry, and at a price point they can afford. That's why this step that the Housing Authority of Cook County is taking today, opening up its wait list for the Housing Choice Voucher Program for the first time in almost 20 years, is so important. Families who get on the wait list will be able to take these vouchers to the private market and be sure that their rent will stay affordable just as long as they need the assistance. Rich Monocchio and his team at the Housing Authority have determined that opening up the wait list to 10,000 applicants will make a significant dent in our housing crisis. I applaud them for their work on this important issue and in recognizing that housing stability impacts not just residents confined to certain neighborhoods in Chicago, but people throughout suburban Cook County as well. But our work is not over. This pandemic and its economic consequences have illuminated the crisis of housing instability faced by so many. COVID-19 has made these difficult decisions, choices between food and shelter, even harder. And unfortunately, the federal government, through its own inaction, has only exacerbated this problem. According to a study published by the New York Times, 8 million more people are living in poverty now than before the pandemic. And of that number, 2.5 million, 2.5 million, are estimated to be children. For the wealthiest country in the world, poverty like this is wholly unacceptable. And where we see poverty, we see housing instability. We must do more, and we must do better. This year, Cook County is making historic investments in housing, despite the financial challenges we're experiencing due to the coronavirus. As you may have heard, we're also providing financial assistance and mediation help for households at risk of either eviction or foreclosure. But I want to make clear that we can't do this alone. The federal government must step up and increase investments in affordable housing, which have stayed flat or decreased for decades, not only in Cook County, but across the nation. But today is a day for celebration, a day to mark a big step in the right direction. I want to further applaud Rich and his team for seeing this critical need and opening the wait list. This process will help lift thousands of Cook County residents out of poverty. Like me, Rich and his team are committed to reducing housing instability and doing right by our fellow residents who need a helping hand. And now I'd like to bring Rich Monocchio to the podium to say a few words. Rich? What did I do with my mask? Oh, here it is. Good. I need my mask here.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, President Preckwinkle. Since President Preckwinkle has taken office, the Housing Authority has been able to rehabilitate 1,500 apartments, and we have 2 new projects in the pipeline for next year. So her her commitment to housing is second to none. And now this, as President Preckwinkle said, this is a very good day for people in Cook County because it's not often that this much rental assistance can be made available at one time to an entire county. We expect to, in fact, at 10:30 we had 6,000 applications already. So I bet that number's increased significantly by now, but as the president said, we are going to take applications, and the application deadline is going to be November 2nd, and we will cut the list off on November 2nd and randomize it to make a list of 10,000. And those 10,000 we hope to be able to house within the next 4 years. We have a dedicated portal set up to apply, and that website address is myportal.thehacc.org. myportal.thehacc.org. And we have a dedicated phone line set up because we understand people may have trouble maneuvering and navigating the website. The phone number is 312-517-2388. I'll just repeat those because this is obviously very important information. myportal.thehacc.org and 312-517-2388. So who qualifies? The Housing Choice Voucher Program is dedicated to people at 50% of median income or below. So our lowest income residents, basically. For a family of four, that means income cannot exceed $45,500. For a one-person household, it's $31,850. We've got over 15,000 vouchers in play as we speak, and we help another 22,000 or so households with their housing. So obviously this program's a lifeline for so many people, especially today. So I have to echo what the President said. You know, this hasn't been done in 18 years, so this is a big day. We look forward to housing as many people as we can and continuing to be a lifeline for Cook County families during these very difficult times. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning. I'm Cook County Commissioner Donna Miller of the 6th District, and I'd like to thank President Preckwinkle for inviting me here today and for her leadership during this pandemic, as well as Rich Monocchio of the Housing Authority of Cook County to talk about the Housing Choice Voucher Program for our residents who are in need of affordable housing. The county has launched multiple programs under the Cook County Recovery Initiative to help our most vulnerable residents during this pandemic. But these programs cannot be successful without such great partners like at the Housing Authority to help them overcome the difficulties they face during this health and economic crisis. So it's only right that we stand with them today to help spread the word about the Housing Choice Voucher Program, which is unique and has not happened in many, many years. So we're very excited about that, which they will administer through Cook County. And the Housing Choice Voucher Program is one of the nation's primary vehicles to help low-income families afford decent, safe, and sanitary housing, and is designed to help provide financial assistance to households to enable them to choose the housing in neighborhoods that best suit their needs. So winter is approaching, as we all know, in the Chicagoland area. It's important that our residents are able to find affordable housing for themselves and their families. And I can tell you that my office has received calls recently about people who are displaced from housing, and it's vitally important that we're able to connect them to our partners who are able to provide the assistance that they require. The last thing we need right now during this pandemic is an increase in our homeless population, because we know they tend to be more vulnerable to infectious disease during this time, and when they have limited access to health care and their mobility and often poor health status. In the south suburbs, the area that I represent, we are no stranger to homelessness and the need for affordable housing. And I've actually participated in overnight outreach efforts to try to assist this vulnerable population in getting shelter. The Federal Housing Voucher Program is one such program that can help low-income residents in their current homes or assist those who need to find affordable housing. So I'd encourage anyone who needs assistance to reach out to the information that was just presented to the Housing Authority of Cook County. So I thank you again, Madam President, and Richard for being here today for announcing this important initiative.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Alma Naya. I'm the Cook County Commissioner of the 7th District, the most Latinx district in the county and also the most immigrant district. And I stand here proud with my colleague, Commissioner Miller, to thank Madam President, her administration, and also Rich from the Housing Authority for all their work. It is time that we need to continue to say that housing is a human right. Again, housing is a human right. A lot of our populations for far too long have seen housing insecurity, but we've seen it be expedited even further during COVID. We're seeing more of our constituents coming to us for information, more of our constituents asking for rental assistance, more of our property owners who are low or middle class asking for assistance for their mortgage. I'm very, obviously this is a touchy topic for me because as I've mentioned before, my family went through homelessness. My family lost our home. We, jumped from apartment to apartment when we were down on our luck. But the reality is that this is happening and it continues to happen because there have been things in place that have unfortunately disproportionately impacted communities of color. And again, I said it before and I say it again, I'm very proud of Cook County for being so proactive, for not only helping during this pandemic and trying to assist during these very crucial times, but also looking past that and making sure that we build an infrastructure for long-term assistance and help to some of our constituents and vulnerable populations. And I do want to remind everyone that Cook County, I believe in maybe 2003, 2004, passed the source of income ordinance that is very crucial in Cook County. This will allow some of the housing voucher holders and some of those that will be able to qualify now on this list to be able to have the choice to know where they're going to go live. Oftentimes, poverty is concentrated in areas, and we're seeing this gives an opportunity for our families to be able to find a place where they're comfortable, where they're safe, where they have accessibility to schools, to their workplace, etc. So it's very important, again, that we take this initiative, and I'm quite proud and quite happy to stand here with my colleagues, Madam President and Rich Monocchio. Hola, buenas tardes. Me llamo Alba Naya. Yo soy la comisionada del 7º Distrito del Condado de Cook, un distrito que es mayormente latino, un distrito que es mayormente inmigrante. Y estoy aquí muy feliz de escuchar lo que se acaba de anunciar. Hemos visto que tenemos el departamento aquí de autoridad de viviendas del condado que va a ayudar a las personas que han estado en lista de espera por muchos años, tener una opción de tener un cupón, como se dice en inglés, para poder vivir en diferentes partes. Esta lista de espera no se ha abierto por los próximos, los últimos 18 años, que significa que ahora tenemos una oportunidad única en 18 años para que las personas que quizás no han podido tener asistencia, ayuda en encontrar viviendas o ayuda financiera, que ya tengan esa ayuda. Y por eso es muy importante. Hemos visto que esta pandemia ha impactado tremendamente a nuestras familias. Muchas personas han perdido trabajos, han perdido su hogar, también han perdido a sus seres queridos y hemos tratado en el condado de no nomás ayudar aquí con asistencia de renta o de hipoteca, pero tratar de ayudar por largo plazo, que es algo muy importante. Y claro, este es algo un poco sensible, estoy un poco sensible sobre, o sentimental diré, sobre esto, porque he visto que mi familia antes, hace 10 años, también fue impactada por una crisis económica donde perdimos nuestro hogar. Y es muy importante que igual como un condado, no nomás hagamos y ayudemos en este momento, pero tratemos de hacer esto a largo plazo. Y por eso estoy aquí muy contenta de dar este anuncio y de poder igual celebrar con todos, porque más gente y más comunidades de color que han sido impactadas van a tener la oportunidad de tener y asegurar su vivienda. Gracias.
All right, Nick, what's the story?
I know we have a couple orders on the line.
Alex, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so just to double check, you said over 15,000 people are using Housing Choice Vouchers as of now, and could you give a number for how many people are currently on the wait list?
All right, Rich, the question is, did you say in your remarks that 15,000 are presently receiving vouchers, and what number of folks are on the wait list presently?
So yes, it's about 15,000 vouchers are in play now that residents are using to pay their rent. We have about another 6,000 or so folks on the waiting list that we're continuing to go through. So once we get through those, we'll be able to process the people who apply as of today.
Thanks. And how many applicants do you expect just to apply to the wait list after you open it again?
So the question is, how many applicants do we expect? It's hard to say, Alice, but I mean, based upon the huge response we've seen from, not sure if I have an update, but from 8:30 to 10:30, there was 6,000. So that gives us an idea of the huge no update. But yeah, 6,000 by 10:30. So we're going to have tens of thousands of applicants. Now, some people won't qualify, but there's no question that in this case, we're going to have more than the 10,000. But I think it is significant that this many Cook County residents will be able to be helped in the next 4 years.
And I wasn't sure, the vouchers, can you use them in the entire county or just for some?
So the question was, where can you use a voucher? This is actually the voucher program is nationwide. So once you get you get on the waiting list and you get a voucher, after you spend a year in your local jurisdiction, you can actually take it any place in the country. I think it's really important to note that, on what Commissioner Miller said too, that Commissioner Anaya as well, that we are a county that has a protection for folks with vouchers. It's a source of income protection. President Preckwinkle led that effort a few years ago. So, it's really truly now something where you can use anywhere. It's not lawful anymore for somebody to say, I don't take Section 8. And unfortunately, that's the case in a lot of cities in this country. But here it's not. So it really is a vehicle of choice for residents of Cook County.
Hey, Rich, you want to clarify what HACC's jurisdiction is specifically?
Sure. So, our jurisdiction we cover Cook County outside of the city of Chicago, with the exception of Oak Park, Maywood, Park Forest, and Cicero. So you can use the voucher any place else in Cook County.
Okay, and my last question, why was the list closed for so long? Is it a supply and demand issue?
Well, why was the list closed so long? Certainly a huge supply and demand issue. There haven't been significant new vouchers from the federal government, which is the source of these vouchers, for a long time, probably 20 years. So our predecessors had a list that was very long. I think it went to about 70,000 people. And, you know, today with housing prices being what they are, and the fact that incomes haven't kept up with the housing prices, more people stayed on the voucher for a longer period of time. So you had a lot less turnover in the program. So obviously, without new vouchers being allocated and so many people on that original list, we were not able to open it again to new applicants until now.
Do you remember what year the list went to 70,000 people?
I think it was 2001.
Okay, thank you. Those are all my questions.
Thank you.
You wanna go to Rachel this on time?
Yeah, hi, thanks. So the 70,000 people, I guess, were they held in 2001? Like, is that when the wait list, I guess, dropped, would you say?
What was the question, Rachel? I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to make sure I understand the 70,000 people you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So applications, did they close in 2001?
Yes.
After those 70,000 people? Okay.
Right. So it was open, and yes, and that's how many people made it to the list in 2001.
What else is being done to get the word out about this?
So there's been a very concerted effort at the county to work with delegate agencies, the dozens of delegate agencies we work with, and the county works with on a daily basis. I think by the fact that we've gotten so many applicants so quickly, I think speaks to the outreach that the very strong outreach that has taken place, and we continue to promote this on social media, and obviously this type of event will help get the word out as well.
Is this application period being opened because of the pandemic specifically?
No, this really has nothing to do with the pandemic, although it comes at a fortuitous time for sure. You know, the other programs that President Preckwinkle announced last week and the week before to help people pay their mortgage and their rent because of COVID-related issues were directly related to the pandemic. The opening of the Housing Choice Voucher list is not, but as I said, it really comes at a fortuitous time because it gives people some hope now at a time where, unfortunately, hope is in short supply for a lot of low-income people.
And the 15,000 number from earlier, that's the number of people who already have vouchers in the county?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I believe we have Steve on the line. Question?
Yeah, hi. I just want to make sure I'm clear on the numbers. But first of all, why are you able to do this now?
So the question again is, why are we able to do this now? It's again, it is a supply and demand issue. We just didn't have vouchers to release until now because the first list, the predecessor list was open in 2001, put 70,000 people on that list, and it took this long to get through that. And again, the reasons are no new vouchers really from the federal government, and the fact that affordable housing is in such short supply that people stayed on the voucher for much longer than had been the case before. Now we're in a position to be able to open the list, fortunately, 18 years later.
Yeah. So there's no new infusion of federal money or anything like that. It's just a matter of the list.
Yes, that's correct. It's. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry. The question was, let me just repeat it. There is no new infusion of federal dollars. That is correct. This is not due to an infusion of federal dollars. It's due to the fact that we've exhausted the list, or we will have exhausted the list once we get through the final 6,000.
Okay, and so there's
Correct.
On the wait list, and so far, just opening it up today, had 4,000.
We had 6,000 from 8:30 to 10:30.
6,000, sorry, all right. So is that a total of 12,000? You have to take care of so far.
I actually have an update. We've gotten 10,000 up till now. So since this wait list has opened at 8:30 in the morning, we've gotten 10,000 people, new people that have applied. So to answer your question, yes, that the last of the 6,000 will be gone through, and then we will start working on this new list after this waiting list closes and the list is randomized. But 10,000 applicants in 3 hours, I think, speaks to the incredible need for affordable housing in not only Cook County, but, this is emblematic of the entire country.
Okay, so the 6,000 who are on the wait list, plus the 10,000 that have applied so far, plus however many apply until November 3rd, they'll all be sort of equal and randomized, and out of that pool will come 10,000
Okay.
vouchers.
So the question was, the list will stay open, and it's actually through November 2nd. And then what happens, how does this relate to the 6,000 that are on the list and the 10,000 I just mentioned and everybody else that's going to apply in the next 2 weeks? So the 6,000 that are on the list now get processed. Typically, it takes between 3 and 5 residents to going through 3 and 5 applications to get one that qualifies. So we expect to have this list that's we're going through now cleared through in the next several months. Then the people that will apply from October 19th to November 2nd, they are the group that gets randomized to be put on the waiting list of 10,000 people. So the 6,000 that are on now get processed if they're still interested, and the new group, whatever we get from October 19th through November 2nd, if we get 50,000, there's a random computerized selection to bring that to 10,000. And then those 10,000 will be the households that have an opportunity to receive a voucher.
Yeah, I just want to be clear.
Yeah, I just want to be clear that we're going to be sending out a release for this event, which would outline all of these numbers in detail.
Any more questions?
Any more questions, Steve?
No, thanks. I think I understand.
Anybody else on the line?
Anybody else on the line?
I had another question. This is Alex.
Okay?
Anybody else?
Anybody else?
So I guess I got confused again about the $70,000 in 2001. Is that number the list of people on the waiting list, or the list of people who were already on vouchers at the time?
No, the 70,000 represents the number of people who were placed on the waiting list in 2001.